Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's good to be with you. My name is Mike McLean. I have the pleasure of serving as the Vice Chairman of the Seminole County Board of Commissioners. And I want to thank the Seminole County Regional Chamber and all the sponsors and volunteers that put on this tremendous event today. Let's give them all a hand if we could, please. Folks, I have the pleasure of introducing to you Board of County Commissioners Chairman Brenda Carey. And I know a lot of you in this room know Brenda very well, but let me give you a couple details about her and let her get up here and talk about the state of the county this year. Brenda was elected to the Board of County Commissioners back in November of 2004 and was elected chairman to our board last November 2007. In addition to her commission duties, Mrs. Carey also owns and operates her own company, the Carey Company. And what that does is it handles business development and owners representative services. Now, many of you know Brenda is also involved with many causes for good organizations, nonprofit that need a hand. And Brenda's been involved with this long before her time as an elected person with Seminole County. Just a few of them are Safe House of Seminole, Boy Scouts of America, and Community-Based Care of Seminole, among many others that Mrs. Carey's been involved with prior to being elected and during her tenure as being on the Seminole County Board. There are a lot of things in life that you can be involved with and a lot of things that our chairman does. She wears a lot of hats. But she wanted to be sure that I mentioned to you that the hats that are most important in her life is being a wife to her husband Fairley, being mother to 5 children, and grandmother to 3. I know you're shocked about the grandmother thing. Give her a hand, please. And folks, I think that's something that's really important where your priorities are, because a lot of us that are in elected life, what we're trying to do, we're trying to deliver a superior form of life to not only the quality of life, not only to the folks that are here and now, but for the generations to come. And that is who our legacy and the decisions we make today will affect the young men and women that will come after us. Ladies and gentlemen, my pleasure to having Brenda Carey is going to now deliver the 2008 State of the County Address. Chairman Brenda Carey. Madam Chair.
Thank you for that nice introduction, Mike. You never know what's going to happen when you give Mike McLean a microphone, so everybody at our table from the chamber was a little nervous about that. Before I begin this afternoon, I would like to introduce my colleagues on the County Commission so that they can share the credit for what we have accomplished, and they can also share the blame for anything that we fail to accomplish. When I call your name, if you would stand up, please, and be recognized. Commissioner Bob DeLaurie, the District 1 County Commissioner. District 2 is Mike McLean. Mike? Our District 3 County Commissioner, Dick Vanderwide. Carlton Henley, our District 4 County Commissioner. You know, the County Commission operates under a charter form of government, and the commissioners must reside in the area where they represent, but we do represent and get elected countywide. The county charter and the Florida statutes stipulate the responsibilities of the county commission. The only 2 folks that we get to hire are the county attorney and the county manager. The county manager is responsible for the day-to-day operation of Seminole County. It's 13 departments and 1,500 employees. If our county manager could please stand and be recognized, Cindy Cotto. But Cindy can't do it alone. We have a great team of Seminole County employees here, and the ones that put this presentation together today among them as well. And I'd like you to, all Seminole County employees, stand to be recognized. Let's give them a round of applause. In addition to the 5 constitutional to the county commissioners, we have 5 constitutional officers who also serve you here in Seminole County. Please stand as I call your name, and if we would hold our applause to the end, I think that'd be great. Clerk of the Court, Mary Ann Morris. Property Appraiser, David Johnson. Tax Collector, Ray Valdez. Supervisor of Elections, Mike Ertel. And the man who keeps us safe, our Sheriff, Don Esslinger. Let's give them a round of applause. You know, many things that take place at the federal and state level of government affect us a lot, some of them more so than others. Many of you know our elected leadership, and not all of them could be here today. We've got a lot of things going on both in Washington and in Tallahassee, but just as a courtesy, I'm going to go ahead and recognize who those are. If you are here or have a representative here, please stand and hold your applause to the end, and we'll give them one round of applause. Representing Seminole County on a national level is U.S. Mel Martinez and Senator Bill Nelson. Congressional representatives are Corrine Brown, Tom Feeney, and John Mica. Let's give them a round of applause. I saw that Dick Harkey was here. I guess you were still representing Congressman Mica, right? All right. I thought he would stand up. Representing Seminole County at the state level are Senators Kerry Baker, Lee Constantine, Bill Posey, and Dan Webster, and our House representatives Sandy Adams, Chris Dorworth, Alan Hayes, and David Simmons. If you're here, please stand and be recognized. Let's give them a nice round of applause. Our 7 city partners in the school board, like us, are the people who are the elected officials closest to the people. As we move forward and walk through some tough times here in the near future, as well as the results of Amendment 1, we will need to be better partners than we have ever been before. If you are a mayor, city commissioner, city council member, or school board member, please stand and be recognized. I wish we had a few more state and federal folks here because I really want them to know what we look like here at local government because I'm sure they'll be seeing us a lot in the coming years. We also have a few special guests. Mayor Rich Crotty from Orange County and Welton Cadwell from Lake County. I also saw former County Commissioner Randy Morris and former House Representative David Mealer. Let's give them a hand for their service in the past. You know, we are proud of all that our cities do, and 2 of them stood out a lot in 2007. Lake Mary and Winter Springs were ranked among Money Magazine's best places to live. Rankings were based on economic opportunity, good schools, safe streets, things to do, and a sense of community. These were the only cities in the entire state of Florida that were recognized for this honor, and I think that certainly deserves another round of applause. You know, people talk frequently about quality of life issues, especially politicians, but they're rarely defined. So today, as I give the State of the County address, I'm going to focus on the quality of life issues because that's what really makes us a unique community. We believe that these elements are all necessary to create a high quality of life. So today I will share with you what I see as our challenges and opportunities as we continue to protect all that we feel is important things here in Seminole County. The first element is good infrastructure. There's an old saying that government is measured by the number of potholes that are filled and if their garbage is picked up. Your county commission has made sure that the infrastructure is planned, under construction, or in a place to assure that high quality of life for our citizens will continue to be recognized here in Seminole County. When I think about quality of life and our infrastructure issues, the first one that comes to mind is roads. In 2001, the voters of Seminole County approved the second generation local option 1-cent sales tax referendum. We currently share that penny with the school board. And it will also sunset in 2011, so we'll probably be getting to start working on that again. I know we've had great success here in Seminole County in being able to pass those type of voter referendums, not like some of our colleagues to the south. I'm sure we'll get one passed here region-wide, though, in the near future. The county's portion of those funds have been used to create and maintain better roads and to fund an extensive sidewalk program. In 2007, we had 5 road projects that were started. Total projects were over $48 million, which is an average of $6.6 million a mile. There are also 4 major roadway projects planned for 2008, an estimated budget amount of $31 million. In 2007, we completed 10 sidewalk projects totaling about 10 miles. Total cost of that project was $1.32 million. And in 2008, we have planned an additional 10 projects for about another 4.5 miles of sidewalks. Stormwater is another thing that comes to mind when I think about infrastructure. It usually doesn't come to the residents' mind, though, until it begins to rain. When the roads start to flood, the lakes start to rise, and the backyards go underwater, our phones really start ringing down at the county offices. In 2007, we completed 7 stormwater projects at a total cost of $11.5 million. We have 11 more projects planned to be started this year with a total budget amount of $14.5 million. Out of that $14.5 million, we were fortunate to have $6.5 million of that come from the St. Johns River Water Management District. In 2000, the County Commission looked around our neighborhoods and said, you know, we have a lot of old neighborhoods in Seminole County, and we need to do a needs assessment study to see what the issues are so that we know how to plan for the future. And 1,200 subdivisions were looked at. At the end of that study, 84 of those were identified as the highest needs area. In 2000, construction was completed on several projects, including the Chuliota 1st and 2nd Street project and the Flagler Trail sidewalk. Other projects completed included the pipelining, rather than replacing, of approximately 2 miles of storm drains and the rehabilitation of 86 manholes in 8 subdivisions. In 2008, we have 5 new projects on the board, and the total budget for those is almost $700 million, or $700,000, I'm sorry. Have to go find some money somewhere. Seminole County operates 16 water treatment plants and 2 wastewater treatment plants. We have provided over 6.8 billion gallons of water last year and transmitted over 1.89 billion gallons of wastewater to Iron Bridge, which is a joint venture that we have enjoyed for many years with the City of Orlando. We are currently retrofitting Greenwood Lakes and Yankee Lake, our wastewater facilities, to provide additional service to our reclaim areas. We must find and use alternative resources for irrigation. We must change the way that we require people to do landscaping when new developments are coming in. We need to use plant material that is less water thirsty, but really requires less water. Drought tolerant would come to mind when I think about the amount of water we're going to need in the near future. Today we have over 25 miles of reclaimed water, and we are currently working on a reclaimed water retrofit project for the Northwest Corridor. Reclaimed water will be coming online to 5 subdivisions in the Northwest service area later this month. If you've driven down Markham Woods Road lately, you've seen the construction phase in progress. What do we mean when we talk about safety today? It certainly means a lot more than locking up our criminals. Our citizens want protection from disease-carrying insects, natural disasters, and terrorists. So, what's being done to protect the environment for our citizens? This past year, the Mosquito Control Program, a recommendation of the Joint City and County Committee, began to come together. We now have an agreement between the city and all 7 cities, the county and all 7 cities. An advisory committee has been established. The county will start to apply scientific mosquito control in order to control the mosquito population. The first of that staff has already been hired. Additional staff will be coming online this year as the program really starts to take off. Several times in 2007, tornadoes severely damaged some of our neighboring communities. That caused all of local governments to reassess our disaster preparedness plans. One of the county's answers to the issue was Prepare Seminole. This multimodal campaign included a launch of a website, educational workshops, billboards, a weather radio distribution initiative, preparedness guidebooks, and a new electronic notification system called Alert Seminole. With Alert Seminole, residents can sign up to receive emergency notifications immediately by sending and receiving text messages to your email, cell phone, pagers, and Blackberries. Perhaps the most essential role that the county plays is public safety, safety of our residents and of our businesses. Last year, the county and 7 cities undertook the Fire Matrix study. This was taking a look at emergency services to see how we could possibly work together to gain greater efficiencies. The subcommittee is currently wrapping up its work, and hopefully we'll hear those results soon. Being prepared is critical in the public safety world. Just last week, we officially opened our firefighter training center. This facility will provide hands-on fire, EMS, and hazardous material training, and more than 100,000 hours of training will be provided at that new facility this year. We were also fortunate to receive a grant from the Fire Fund Insurance Company, Fireman's Fund Insurance Company. $23,000 went to station number 36, which is our Heathrow station, and the firefighters there will be using that money to purchase additional protective clothing. In addition, Station 13 on State Road 436 will be coming online in the next 60 to 90 days. This station will serve West Altamont and Apopka areas. The station has many architectural features. Most of them were a requirement of the organization that we purchased the land from. And just let me assure you, this is not the new prototype of fire stations for Seminole County. If you've been in our offices, our phones have been ringing ever since the bell tower went up. So I'm sure all the firefighters will enjoy that station as well as hopefully our community, because it will be the last one you see like that. We must always be prepared for the unexpected. The Community Automated External Defibrillator Response Enhancement Program, also known as CARE, registered 76 new AED systems totaling 264 throughout the county. We are very proud to say that every school in Seminole County has at least one AED on site. In addition, we have installed AEDs in all county libraries, our court systems, most of our staff parks, and the county buildings which are occupied by the public. Providing safety for our pedestrians and bicyclists was also an important issue. With the number of children and trail users increasing annually, our overpasses, underpasses, and crosswalks become of more increasing importance. In 2007, 2 pedestrian overpasses were constructed that span Lake Mary Boulevard. The Country Club Road overpass at Lake Mary Elementary School increased safety for students as well as improved the flow of traffic. The second at Reinhardt Road connects the Cross Seminole Trail and will provide safety for the many county trail users. I'm sure you've seen these pedestrian overpasses. You know, Lake Mary told us that they didn't want us to build chicken coops. So, Mayor Tom, I would tell you, nobody will mistake those pedestrian overpasses for chicken coops. What do you think? Soon to be completed this year in June will be the overpass at 1792 and General Hutchinson Parkway. And all of those programs were paid for by the 1 penny sales tax. The County Commission, along with the Sheriff, takes your personal safety very seriously, and protecting of your property is one of our #1 things that the Sheriff is responsible for. One of the greatest appeals of Seminole County is the fact that we have a very low crime rate. In fact, Seminole County has the lowest crime rate in Central Florida. Funding for the Sheriff's Office is allocated by the Board of County Commissioners, and this year the Sheriff's budget is over $93 million. That also includes a jail, but it's 40% of our general fund operating budget. In 2007, the Sheriff's Office handled over 265,000 calls for service. The deputy to resident ratio is the second best among Central Florida Sheriff's Office. My prediction for 2008 is that we will continue to have the lowest crime rate in Central Florida. But we're no longer just a bedroom community to Orange County and the city of Orlando. And our economic development program was initiated in 1993. And when that was put in place, they had several goals: to strengthen and recession-proof the Seminole County economy through business diversification, to attract higher wage jobs, and to expand the non-residential tax base. The countywide average wage in 2007 was over $38,000. We're now neck and neck with Orange County. One of the most significant economic events of the year was the launching of the Seminole Community College Center for Economic Business Development. The center co-locates all of these businesses in one marketplace, making it really easy to have a team effort in order to continue to promoting Seminole County. In 2007, we were also successful in growing our economic industry here and also partnering with some of our local businesses. Through important business relationships, the county established 16 expansions or relocation projects. That created over 1,300 new jobs, more than $55 million in capital, and more than 596,000 square feet of space has been occupied. One of the major relocations this year was Progressive Auto Insurance in Altamont Springs. Other major expansions included Miranda Systems, Invacare, and Del Air Heating and Air Conditioning. Small business accounts for 98% of the business in Seminole County, and it is vital for us to continue supporting our small business. The Seminole Technology Business Incubator Center is dedicated to growing technology-based businesses. I saw Randy Barrage here today, our High-Tech Corridor Council member. The project at the Technology Business Incubator was a joint venture between Seminole County, the Seminole County Port Authority, and Seminole Community College. In 2007, they serviced over 350 clients, hosted 32 events, and reached over 460 individuals to talk about their business needs. The University of Central Florida's Business Incubation Program is nationally recognized and is currently expanding into Seminole County. The 10,000 square foot center will provide office space for emerging companies as well as coaching, mentoring, training, education, and networking opportunities. Seminole County, Winter Springs, UCF, and the Florida High-Tech Corridor Council are providing funding for the Vista Willa site. They're off to a quick start. The incubator has already admitted 6 clients, and several other are already in the process. Randy's given me the high sign. They now have 7. Many of the residents live in Seminole County because of the quality of life that we offer, but they work outside of our county. New and upcoming developments will offer new opportunities for everyone in the region. Innovation Way in southeast Orange County, the Burnham Institute at Lake Nona, the UCF Medical School, which has recently granted preliminary accreditation enabling the school to recruit its first class, the new VA hospital, also slated for the Lake Nona area, planned to have a 134-bed hospital, a clinic, nursing home, and also dormitories. Of course, all those medical facilities are going to need trained professionals, which they can now recruit from the Seminole Community College Medical Nursing College in Altamont Springs. So looking forward to the future, we identified 417 as a possible business corridor that will further aid in the county's economic growth. Seminole Way will look at areas and intersections for opportunities to locate businesses along 417, creating another high-wage district. The project is a joint effort between the county, the cities of Oviedo, Sanford, and Winter Springs, and also the Orlando Sanford International Airport. We'll be looking at new opportunities while preserving environmentally sensitive lands and protecting the rural lands that are out in that corridor. According to Metro Orlando Economic Development Commission, Seminole County's unemployment rate is lower than the Metro Orlando area, the state, and the nation, and we're certainly very proud of that. The average household income in 2007 was almost $69,000, and the county's median household income was over $59,000, up almost $10,000 from the year 2000. We continue to be ranked well above the state and national statistics in both of those categories. Our success for creating jobs and training our workforce can be attributed to our excellent schools, not just K through 12, but also the higher education opportunities. Seminole Community College has been a leader in providing educational opportunities for many years in this county. One of the most recent programs additions is Direct Connect to UCF. This allows students to start their education at Seminole Community College and have guaranteed access to continue their education at UCF. And it's working. Approximately 2,500 students have already taken advantage of that opportunity. I think that deserves another round of applause for Dr. McGee and her staff. And let's not forget, we got the Dream Auction coming up on February 23rd to support Seminole Community College Foundation. I hope to see you all there. Newsweek magazine ranked the nation's 2,700 plus high schools, and for the 3rd consecutive year, all 8 of Seminole County high schools were ranked in the top 5% of the nation. But that's not all. Seminole County has 55 schools that began this school year with the prestigious distinction of being named 5-star schools by the Florida Department of Education. And just yesterday, I was having breakfast sitting next to Dee Dee Schaffner from the school board, and she told me about another award that they just received this week. Seminole County schools were notified by the Department of Education that they have been identified as an academically high-performing district. This exemplary honor was only achieved by 9 other districts in the entire state of Florida. That's quite an accomplishment. Congratulations. Your Board of County Commissioners has worked closely with the school board to maintain those excellent schools. We share the 1-penny sales tax. We utilized revenue from the Schlossberg fee to help fund drivers' education, and working together, cities, county, and the school board, we returned drivers' education to 2 of the high schools last year. You should feel safer knowing that 425 student drivers have already had some formal training before they got behind the wheel of a car. In April of '07, the County Commission was awarded the Commissioner's Business Recognition Award, a major statewide award in honor of our partnership with Seminole County School Districts. Our natural lands and recreational program opportunities are another significant part of what makes Seminole County so appealing to our residents and visitors. And some new parks are on the horizon. Jetta Point, located between Oviedo and Winter Springs, was approved last year. Amenities will include playgrounds, pavilions, trails, an equestrian area, a softball complex, soccer fields, concession stands, and support facilities. Additionally, we will be adding program opportunities such as summer camps, youth and adult, and leisure activities. All of that will be introduced as part of our new projects out at Jetta Point. And we had originally planned to redevelop the Soldiers Creek Park after the completion of Jetta Point. Until then, Soldiers Creek is getting a facelift. We're really happy about that too, Joe, I got to tell you. We currently have a little project out there, $150,000 to hold Soldiers Creek over until we can get some new facilities built. With our projected growth of over 400,000 people by 2050, now is the time for us to be planning our parks for the future. Seminole County remains Florida's natural choice. This reputation is largely due to the county's foresight to preserve natural lands. Seminole County manages more than 6,600 acres of natural lands at 13 separate locations. Operating these properties cost us over $580,000 annually. Last year, 2 new wilderness areas also opened to the public for access, adding another 2,300 and nearly 6.5 miles of trails, natural trails, to our wilderness area. I know Joe Abel and I went out there one day. He was going to show me the park, and he said, "You want to walk a little way down the trail, Commissioner?" I said, "Absolutely." We walked the whole 2 miles, and I think that surprised him. I'm not sure he was planning for me to make the trip. But those were Black Hammock Wilderness Area along the shores of Lake Jesup and the Black Bear Wilderness Area in the northwest area of Seminole County, located on the south banks of the St. Johns River. We hope that y'all will go out and visit some of those new parks. The county continues to move forward with its acclaimed trail program. The Trails program will not only connect counties and cities, but it will create connections to schools, natural lands, and county parks as well. They also will connect us to our state and national trail system in addition to just connecting us here locally. We have over 31 miles of paved trails completed. We have many others in design, under construction, or some that still need funding. In 2007, several of the segments of the Cross Seminole Trail were worked on. The missing section from 434 to Winter Springs High School was completed, and currently under construction is a segment from Greenwood Boulevard south to Old Sanford Oviedo Road. 2 more sections of the Cross Seminole Trail are slated for construction starts this year. The Oviedo Connector from 426 at the Oviedo Marketplace to 434, and 426 to Mickler Road, from Mickler Road to Redbug. Both of those should be completed in the first quarter of 2009. Seminole County recognizes that conservation is an important component to securing our future. Through the public-private partnership with Seminole Energy LLC, a landfill gas-to-energy plant was constructed at the county landfill. Landfill gas will be purchased from the county for the next 20 years, and the power will be sold to Seminole Electric Cooperative. The plant will convert potential greenhouse gas methane into renewable energy that will generate power for more than 3,500 homes. The county is also expecting to receive over $450,000 a year as revenue from that project. And of course, for the next 40 years, we see that the landfill would continue to not only work as a landfill, but continue to produce energy. We're serious about conserving our natural resources, and to prove it, we started from within. A new energy conservation plan was implemented, and as a result, environmentally friendly practices have been incorporated into the daily operations and will be considered on all future construction projects in Seminole County. Initiatives already underway include standardizing our temperature settings and installing energy-efficient lighting. Our goal was to lower our energy usage by 15% in the first year. I'm happy to say it seems to be working. We compared our electric bills from last year to the previous years. We had a 7% reduction in our power bill in November and a 17% reduction in December. I think we're off to a great start. We have also made water conservation a priority. 75% of the water that we pump out of the Florida aquifer goes back on the ground for irrigation. Isn't that just amazing? I always am stunned when I see that number. The Reclaim Water program will provide reclaimed water instead of using potable drinking water for irrigation in the county's northwest service area. Phase 1 has already been completed, and Phase 2 will be completed this year. It is estimated that the targeted neighborhoods currently use over 1 million gallons of potable water a day to irrigate. That's enough to fill 67 swimming pools every day. We've heard a lot about building green in the last few years, and so our planning staff has been researching best practices to really learn about what is cost-effective methods that can easily be obtained. We're also looking at LEED credits for those who want to undertake achieving a higher level of green, such as LEED certification. We have several green buildings under design or construction in the county, including the Burke Hogan Mills Architectural Office and the Redmond Design Building down in Fern Park. In addition, we are in the process of implementing the Seminole Economic Enhancement District program, also known as SEED. The SEED program will focus on the cleanup of blighted and possibly contaminated sites along 1792 corridor. Cleaning up and reinvesting in the SEED properties will facilitate job growth, utilization of our existing infrastructure, increases to our local tax base, and will also allow us to ease development pressure in our open lands by redeveloping along 1792. All of that ultimately will help improve and protect the environment. We've been working closely with our CRA partners in Castleberry, Lake Mary, and Winter Springs to execute the SEED program. Of course, you cannot attract businesses that have high-paying jobs unless you have a business-friendly government. We are constantly reevaluating our procedures to ensure that we are promoting business growth and expansion and eliminating those that hinder attracting new businesses to our community. It is up to each local government to foster a business-friendly climate, because I got to tell you, things are probably going to get a little more competitive after Amendment 1. Seminole County has always been fiscally conservative. Before property tax reform, our millage rate was 4.998, one of the lowest among 67 counties in the state of Florida, and well below the 10 mil cap that the state allows for. We were able to keep our taxes low, though, because we were experiencing increased construction, a booming real estate market, and strong property value appreciation. Last year, after the first round of property tax reform, we reduced our countywide millage to 4.35. The tax savings to the community was $20.6 million, a 13% reduction. When you combine all the taxes, including the school board, the water management district, roads, fire, and voter-approved initiatives, Seminole County's tax rate is still the lowest when compared to our surrounding counties. The total operating budget for 2008 is over $1 billion. Now, when people hear those big numbers, they say, wow, what are you spending our money on? Well, I'm going to try to give you a simple analysis. I want you to think about your own checkbook. Our beginning fund balance is $571 million. These are funds that have been committed for projects and programs, and they've been carried forward from previous years. Our operating revenue for 2008 is approximately $493 million. Over $192 million of that come from all ad valorem tax sources, your property taxes, that go into the general fund, the funds, our road MSTUs, and other voter-approved millages such as trails and natural lands. The balance of the tax is made up from other taxes such as utility taxes, licenses and permits, intergovernmental revenue, which is really sales tax and mostly grants, charges for such things such as recording fees, fees that are generated from our parks and recreational facilities, fines and forfeitures that come through the Sheriff's Department, and miscellaneous revenues such as interest on our investments, the contribution from the Seminole County Port Authority, various administrative fees, fees that come back from our constitutional officers, and other enterprise funds. And that's how we get to $1.064 billion. So it's not all new money that we're out there spending. But I want to talk a minute just about our general fund. The county's general fund budget includes a countywide ad valorem tax of $144 million, along with other general purpose revenues used to support the provisions of essential public services, for a total operating budget of $230 million. Last year, we responded to property tax reform and cut your millage rate by 13%, reducing our general fund by $20 million. Additionally, we saw an 8% decline in our revenues from our second largest source, sales tax. We managed to balance our budget by cutting operating costs by $15 million and rethinking our business processes to gain efficiencies. The passing of Amendment 1 means an additional $20 million impact to our county budget. $15 million of that is to our general fund, and almost $5 million of that is to our fire fund, which is how we pay our firefighters. So how are we going to respond? Well, we've started a systematic approach focusing on citizens' perspective, evaluation of our services that we're delivering, and we're looking at the long-term sustainability of our services. Today, Seminole County is part of a very elite group. We have the sixth highest credit rating, and we have the sixth highest credit-rated counties in the state of Florida. We have a AA bond rating, which is considered high quality and high grade. And what does this all mean to the citizens? That's what everybody says to me. Well, what does it mean when you have a AA bond rating? What it means is that we can have lower interest rates when we have financings that we have to, projects that we have to finance. Standard & Poor's report recently stated that the county's strong economic profile, characterized by sound population growth, above average wealth and income levels, low unemployment, and solid per capita retail sales, adds stability to the county's strong underlying economy. Moody's recently stated the county's favorable credit characteristics that include a growing and diverse economic base, well-managed financial operations, and moderate debt position are reflective of the county's high ratings. Speaking of saving our taxpayers money, earlier this year we kicked off a program that helped our residents save money on prescription drugs. With all the presidential debates today, we've all heard about healthcare issues and the high cost of prescription medicine. This program is sponsored by the National Association of Counties and administered by Caremark Rx, Inc. It offers an average savings of 20% on prescription drugs. Additional savings may be realized if you are willing to accept generic drugs. And it's easy and it's free. It doesn't require any enrollment or any application fee. Cards are available to all Seminole County residents regardless of age, income, existing health coverage, and are accepted at dozens of pharmacies throughout Seminole County. If you are an employer, we encourage you to distribute these cards to your employees who live in Seminole County. Dr. David Medley is here. David, raise your hand, because I want everybody to see you so that when you're looking for cards, you can go see Dr. Medley. He and his team have some here to be distributed today. So what are we doing to secure your future and protect your quality of life? Seminole County is the third most densely populated county in the state. Our current population is over 425,000 and estimated to double by 2050. We are only 300 square miles, as John mentioned earlier, and as you can see, our developable land is rapidly disappearing. And so now is the time for us to take the right moves, to appropriately plan for the future. We've had many years of sprawl. It will take significant political will by all of our elected officials to chart the course to appropriately plan for the development and redevelopment of our county to absorb another 400,000 residents. I've lived here for over 50 years, and I've seen plenty of change. When my family moved to Seminole County in Sanford in 1957, the population was just over 46,000. Probably by the end of this year, we will be 10 times that. So we can't plan just for the here and now. We must look out the next 40 years. How Shall We Grow is a process that we went through for 18 months here in Central Florida. It was a campaign to create a shared vision for Central Florida. 7 counties and 86 cities, along with over 20,000 citizens, spent over a year trying to create this vision. How will we grow as we look to double our population in the region by 2050? Currently, the population in Central Florida is 3.5 million. And by 2050, they're anticipating it to be 7.2 million. I know every time I get together with our regional leaders like Mayor Crotty, we all think that this is probably going to happen a little sooner than that based on the rates that we're seeing of growth right now. But with this in mind, we created a regional compact and a policy framework for us to build on. 4 key themes emerged demonstrating how the future of Central Florida could be different if we would follow these future policies and practices based on the 4 C's. Conservation was the very one at the top of the list. Preserving a green print of environmentally sensitive lands is the #1 thing that we plan to do. Countryside, what does that mean today? Preserving our open spaces and our heritage of agriculture and small villages like Geneva. Centers, building self-sustaining communities. Heathrow is a perfect example of a live, work, and play community. Corridors, developing in our areas where we already have some infrastructure, applying our heights and densities there, especially where we have transportation corridors. That is going to be a key. Redeveloping where we have aging infrastructure falling down, buildings that have been abandoned, is just critical for us to do in the future. If you've lived here for any length of time, you may remember what used to look how Uptown Altamont used to look. The city of Altamont Springs went forth and purchased some property and assembled some land and put it out to the development community and said, come and redevelop this for us. And as a result, today we have Uptown Altamont, which I think is another great transition for the heart of Seminole County. But it's up to us here in Seminole County to decide today how our future is going to look. During the past year, we conducted studies and worked with other organizations to address the issues that will become part of our updated comprehensive plan. Last year's accomplishments included creating a task force of workforce affordable housing, to look at workforce affordable housing, the adoption of a capital improvements program, and discussions with our cities regarding the development of commuter rail stations and how the areas around those would develop. School concurrency was also adopted and became effective on January the 1st. So we'll be looking very closely at those future land use maps to ensure that we can implement the How Shall We Grow plan. However, it will take some changes to the Growth Management Act that was passed in DCA up in Tallahassee. The 1792 Community Redevelopment Agency is meeting the challenges of today while creating opportunities for tomorrow, with continued expansion for economic opportunities for the county and our partners, Castleberry, Lake Mary, Sanford, and Winter Springs. The county is currently working on a multi-million-dollar infrastructure project down in Fern Park. When it's completed this fall, the southern section of 1792 will actually have water, sewer, and stormwater available. Building upon last year's capital investment, the 1792 CRA became home to Lowe's in Fern Park, which was the old Kmart that sat dark for 20 years, and Fifth Third Bank on the corner of 427 and 1792, which you may recall for many years was a buy here, pay here auto dealership. Traffic congestion affects our quality of life, and it's one of the most significant obstacles of growth. Commuter rail is just one of the ways that we have planned to reduce congestion. Our commuter rail system will span 61 miles and travel through Volusia, Seminole, Orange, and Osceola counties. We'll have 4 stops in Seminole County at Sanford, Lake Mary, Longwood, and Altamont Springs. Over the past year, the commuter rail agreements have finally been finalized. Construction for this project is scheduled to begin in 2009, and passenger service is scheduled for the fall of 2010. In addition to that important project, I know Mayor Crotty and I and others are working very hard to try to get that missing link. You know, it used to be the missing link was to get us to I-4. Now the missing link is the Wekiva Parkway, and I look forward to working with you, Mayor, on that important project. The Orlando Sanford International Airport is another important partner for economic and tourist development. They generate almost $2 billion annually in economic activity for this region. They provide over 5,500 airport jobs, and you can currently fly to 27 cities domestically and 10 European destinations right there out of Sanford. Almost 1.8 million passengers traveled through Orlando Sanford International Airport last year. And to make traveling a little easier, they built an 830-space parking garage, which opened in August of 2007 at a cost just over $12 million. Many things are on tap coming up for 2008 out at the airport, including a 4-story Best Western, a 27,000 square foot hangar, many extensive runway extensions and improvements, far too complicated for me to go through, as I told Larry Dale when I saw the list. It said L, right, 27-8, you know, it's all that airport lingo. In addition, they received a $6.9 million grant to continue land acquisition to deal with their noise mitigation out there. Growth in economic and tourist development means an increase in the number of business and vacation travelers. The county has approved plans for several new hotels, and several more are in process. A 4-star Westin will be located at State Road 46 and International Parkway, with a groundbreaking occurring on that this weekend. Hyatt Place, located south of Lake Mary Boulevard at International Parkway, is currently under construction, and they should be open for business in July. And how about this Hilton? Under new ownership, there's a $9 million renovation plan underway, and I think they did a great job today, don't you? Let's give them a round of applause. The Conference Center feasibility study was also updated last year. It identified the I-4 area between Lake Mary Boulevard and State Road 46 as the most suitable location. It indicated that space should be multi-use and between 25 and 30,000 square feet, with a minimum of 250 to 300 convention-quality hotel rooms on site or in close proximity. Of course, with last year's property tax reform and the passage of Amendment 1, I'm not sure what the future holds for the Conference Center project. We'll probably know a little more about that after we start our budget workshops. Water. It's a resource that we cannot live without. The St. Johns Water Management District has announced that they will cap the amount of water that we can draw from the Florida aquifer in 2013. Somebody said to me the other day, well, 2013 is a long way away, and I said, 5 years. Sounds like a long time. So we must look at alternative sources and find another source for our future water supply. By reducing the amount of potable water that we use for irrigation, we may be able to avoid more expensive water processing solutions like saltwater desalination. One of our capital improvement programs this year is a project known as C-2012, Seminole Environmental Enhancement 2012. The goal of C-2012 is to deliver an affordable water and wastewater infrastructure program to our citizens by implementing timely and cost-effective projects. A few years ago, the Water Management District told us to go to the river, and they gave us a $7.5 million grant, and so we did. The Yankee Lake Surface Water Plant is budgeted at approximately $48 million and will ultimately use treated surface water from the St. Johns River to replace groundwater for augmenting our reclaimed water program. The experts have indicated that you could safely withdraw 155 million gallons a day out of the river without having any impact at all to the quality of the river. Phase 1 of our Yankee Lake project requests a withdrawal of only 5.5 million gallons a day. But the water wars have already started. As we well know, North Florida has already sent letters to the governor, passed resolutions, and Mayor Crotty had his staff up there not long ago talking about how we're all going to deal with our future water resources in the state of Florida. Phase 2 will probably provide potable water for Seminole County and our local partners within Seminole County as well as some of our regional partners. And certainly we'll be looking to Orange County to help us partner on that program. As you can see, we are doing everything that we can to be prepared for the future. By changing our development patterns and stopping the sprawl, allowing height and densities where appropriate, planning for alternatives, both in transportation and water, and protecting our natural resources, we will continue to be one of the most desirable places to live, work, and play. Your Board of County Commissioners takes this challenge very seriously. My little grandson, Dermot, is the 5th generation of my family to live in Seminole County. I want this to be a great place for many generations to come, both mine and yours. And don't forget your special someone today. It is Valentine's Day. Thank you for having me.